Assalamualaikum students. Today we are going to learn the capital budgeting techniques. These are few because our course is very basic in nature, financial management. So that's why we are considering very few capital budgeting techniques. So to start the topic, we should discuss the basic techniques like basic contents of the chapter that there the project evaluation and selection, potential difficulties, capital rationing, and project monitoring and post completion audit. And we will be basically very focused to the project evaluation and selection because these contain the basic techniques that are required. Project evaluation and alternative methods having four type of techniques: payback period, internal rate of return, net present value, and profitability index. I think you guys have worked with all four techniques before that too, because I consider that you were familiar with them. So let me start from the very first technique, that is payback period technique. And what is the proposed project data? That is, Julia Miller is evaluating a new project for her firm, the Basket Wonders. She has determined that after tax cash flows for the project will be 10,000, 12,000, 15,000, 10,000, and 7,000. These are forecasting for the next 5 year. Like she mentioned, the data provider mentioned next respectively that for each of year 1 to 5, and the initial cash outlay was 40,000. So one basic and very important term for question solving is that we should consider that project should be independent, right? And if the project is depending upon other project or having some sort of link with other projects, so we have to consider that project too while solving or while selecting or while rejecting that project, right? So that gonna create a sort of problem and a sort of more responsibility. So that's why we are having a term that our project is independent. So now look at uh, the pictorial explanation that at zero time period we were having 40k, like 40,000 cash outflow that we denoted it with the minus sign, and at 1 we having inflow 10k, 10,000 at period 1. So that is that not there the negative sign, so it's mean that is inflow. In the second up to 12k, 15k, and 10k and 7k, right? So what we need to do to get the payback period of this specific question, right? First of all, we need to calculate the cumulative expected cash flow at each period, right? Each term. So what we are going to do, we're going to cumulate uh, inflows. Like at the very year end first, that was 10k, right? And at year 2 there was uh, 10 plus 12, that is going to be, that is going to be 10 plus 12, that is going to be 22k. And now if we include uh, the 15k to 22k, that is going to be 37k. So in 37k we will include 10k, so that is going to be 47k. And if we are going to include the 7k in 47k, so that is going to be 54k inclusively. So we having a formula uh, which we can derive the basic situation and a basic formulation of the payback period, that is a plus into b minus c over d, right? What is a here? That is, we have to compare first of all our outflow that is 40k, with cumulative inflows, and we will check that what inflow is immediate less than the outflow. So here the 37k is immediate less because the 47k is more than that, so that is immediate less. So we will select the year number as A. You can see that A is written with that, and later in A we mention 3 at the place of A, right? And B is the cash outflow, that is 40k, so we mentioned the 40 here. And C is that cumulative inflow of that selected period, that is 37. And our D is very next period's individual inflow, that is 10k, and we divide it. Now what we do, 40 minus 37, that comes with a 3, and over 10 we divide it and we add 3 in it, and that comes with a 3.3 years, right? So our payback period is 3.3 years for this question. So we will come with the acceptance criteria. The management of BW has set a maximum payback period of 3.5 years for the project of this type. Like they considered with the 3.5 years they maximize it, that we will not go beyond the 3.5 years. So should this project be accepted? Yes, the answer is yes. The firm will receive back the initial cash outlay in less than 3.5 years, in 3.3 years. So we'll accept that project. Now weaknesses and strengths. This method is very easy to use and understand, and we can mirror it for the liquidity as well. Sorry. And it is easier to forecast short-term and long-term flows with that project. Sorry, short-term than the long-term flows, because this is not having the effect of time value of money, right? And this does not consider the cash flow beyond the payback period. Like we are getting our amount get paid in 3.3, so we are not considering the cash flows beyond the period, right? In decision. And the cutoff period is subjective, like very much biased. So this is why this is not much appropriate method. And the next method is internal rate of return, IRR. What we gonna do, that is very much simple method and just related to the time value of money. We have read before the concept of time value of money. What we gonna do in that, we are gonna equalize the initial cash outflow with the present value of all future cash inflows, right? We will get the present value of them and we will equate with that, right? So now we can say that we write it down in the formula, but we don't have IRR. We have to calculate IRR, right? Find the interest rate. For a previous example, our initial cash outflow was 40,000, right? And we took our 10,000, 12,000 yearly 5-year inflows and put them in the formula. First we try the 10%, right? And what we have present value interest factor, that is 10%, and 1 year for the 10,000 and so on. We calculate, and what we got at 10%, we got the 41,444. Rate is too low, very low. Why? Because we consider that if we are putting the rate 10%, right? So what we are getting, like rate and the amount which we having right now, having the inverse relationship. If we want to reduce our amount, we need to increase the rate, right? I'm talking about the present value. Keep in your mind that present value amount having inverse relationship with the interest rate.